Engadget has grown up a lot over the past 13 years, and so has the technology we cover. Tech is no longer just computers, TVs, and smartphones. It's virtual reality, it's AI, it's gaming, it's life. So when our parent company gave us a blank check to do basically whatever we wanted, we decided to go big and get a little experimental too. Using that money, we awarded 5 grants worth $100,000 each to artists whose work uses immersive technology in creative, thoughtful ways. All that came together last week at the Engadget Experience, a one-day event in LA where we took over the theater at the Ace Hotel to debut those art installations to the public.
Welcome to the Engadget Experience.
But before we got here, we had to pick the winners. Engadget received over 300 grant proposals, and sifting through them took a lot of time. These were detailed plans, and a lot of the ideas were abstract and ambitious, and had never been attempted before. We needed to call in reinforcements, so we brought in 4 judges who were deeply plugged into both the art and tech worlds. With their help, we narrowed the field to 5 diverse grant winners. As you entered the event, the very first thing you would have seen is Untrained Eyes, the first project we'd ever heard of that makes art out of search results. At first glance, the installation appears to simply be a long mirror, but hidden behind it are Kinect sensors that detect the person standing in front of it. Then, the setup uses machine learning to match your face against a predetermined database of photos to tell who you look like, or more likely, who you don't. Glenn Kino, the project's creator, says Untrained Eyes was meant to make people reflect on the biases that are built into everyday technology, including image search.
The idea for the work is that that bias exists in our insurance premium algorithms. That bias exists in algorithms that determine if you can get into schools.
Then there was Mapper's Delight, a project whose use of VR stood apart from many of the other virtual reality submissions we considered. Here, there's no story per se. Instead, you're using sight and sound to travel the globe, following a complicated web of rap lyrics. Using a rich database of artists and their tracks, creator Tahir Hemphill was able to trace the context in rap lyrics and ultimately visualize the history of the genre itself.
And right now we have about 250,000 songs, about 30,000 artists.
Also in VR was the project Dinner Party. This one appealed to us on multiple levels. It's a thriller that tells the real-life story of Betty and Barney Hill, an interracial couple who in 1961 grabbed national attention after reporting a UFO encounter. The couple sought hypnosis to recover memories of what they had experienced, and it was at a dinner party that they worked up the courage to share those tapes with friends. This is where the modern-day medium of virtual reality comes in.
From the start, our artistic mission was to create a film that harnessed the elements that create emotional immersiveness in traditional narrative with the physical immersiveness of VR.
You sit at the table on a dinner party set and put on the VR headset in front of you as if you were one of their guests. Without spoiling anything, Betty and Barney experience the alien abduction very differently, which raises some questions about race and perception that are still relevant, even today. At the lighter end of our lineup was Dance with Flamingos, which, you guessed it, involves an interspecies dance in augmented reality.
Dance with Flamingos is a mixed reality experience that features a multi-species dance between humans and flamingos and pays homage to the flamingo by staging kinship from an ethical distance.
While engaging in a ritual flamingo mating dance might sound like pure silliness, it's also a great way to learn more about them. In fact, creator Kristen Lucas was so concerned about this endangered species that she personally adopted 20 of them in the wild and based her virtual creatures on real-life ones. Her hope is that the experience will inspire kinship with these birds from a safe distance, and that maybe more people will be motivated to sponsor some. That brings us to our 5th and final grant winner, a project called Your Hands or Feet. It's an immersive, room-scale VR experience that places you in surreal, almost psychedelic settings.
Your Hands or Feet allows you to step inside of impossible worlds, a world where your eyes could pop out of your head, where your stomach could tie in knots, where your head could be in the clouds, but really though.
Behind all the bright colors and offbeat props, there's actually a clear psychological purpose. It uses the medium of VR to convey feelings that are difficult to express using other media. For instance, one exercise has you shaving a giant's legs. It's a satisfying sensation, but as with so many other things in life, you'll never complete the whole thing in the time allotted, and you will eventually have to do it all over again. In each case, the experience feels like a trip deep inside someone else's brain, with a window into how they conceptualize their experiences. Throughout the Engadget experience, we also hosted panels meant to foster a conversation between artists and technologists, two groups that often function apart from each other.
I think it's up to us as directors and creators and storytellers to create stories that blossom in the medium.
It's early days still, but if our panels and art installations are any indication, VR and AR alike are starting to be taken more seriously as artistic mediums. VR and AR aren't just for loners, and they aren't just for gamers. These mediums can be serious and thought-provoking. At the end of it all, we feel that we achieved what we set out to do: fund original works of art, bring disparate industries together, and open a conversation about what the future of art and technology might look like. We're humbled to have had this opportunity and hope we can continue to make even more projects like this possible.